everything thus far. Please help me welcome our pastor, Sister Rose.
I want to say a little bit this morning that I am so grateful to God for what He has done in this nation. I said to my son last night how tragic it is that somebody had to die to get here. But I realize everything in life that has any values, a cost is paid. Martin Luther King started many years ago, but we never, ever, ever had it in all the years of civil rights. We never had the entire world involved. Only God could do such a thing. It wouldn't happen no other way. Yes. And I sit and watch the different things on TV this week, and I'm telling you, I cried at times when I saw different things. When Roger Goodell came out for the NFL commissioner, I had to stop for a minute. And he said, we got it all wrong. Not many people that's in that particular status would come out and say I'm wrong. To me, it was a big message saying, you know, we were wrong. I should have listened to the NFL players all along. They should have been allowed to stand and make their voices known. But I think what stood out to me was when he said, I'm joining in this fight. I said, God, thank you for the people that you let join in the fight. Yes. If you're going to get something good out of life, you're going to have to fight for it. Nothing comes easy in life if it's worth anything. I remember looking at this little girl, and boy, that really touched me. She's 6 years old, and some of y'all may have seen it. And she looked up to the police officer and says, are you going to shoot us? And he bent down and he put his arms around her. He said, I'm here to take care of you. I won't hurt you. And she felt somewhat comforted. But when I watched the chief of police all over this country kneeling, I said, God, you the only one could do this. Yes. And then we had people joining hands with each other, law enforcement officers, and all these things. And I saw a man that stood out in my mind. He was a highway patrol guy, a state patrol, and he went to this lady that was on a motorcycle. She was an old black lady, and she had been fighting in civil rights from the time she was a teenager. I don't know how old she was, but she was an elderly lady. She was on a motorcycle. I wouldn't get on there. She was on a motorcycle, and let me tell you, she said, I've been fighting this for a long time. I lost 2 sons through violence. And he went over to her, and she started telling him her story. And he looked at her and he said, you mind if I give you a hug? She said, no. And he reached over and hugged her, and she named him Big Boo. He said, she gave me a nickname, called me Big Boo. He said, and he thought about George Floyd when he said he called for his mother as he was dying. And he said, all of us have a mother. And he said, I had a mother. He said, about a year and a half ago, my mother passed away, and I haven't got a chance to hug her no more. And he looked over to the lady, he said, can I hug you? She said, yeah. And he had tears in his eyes. He said, so sorry. But he stood there for a moment, and black people always give nicknames. If you don't know what our real name is. And so when he said, she said, I'm gonna call you Big Boo. And he stood up, he said, she's calling me Big Boo. And he looked like it just really was a moment that anybody would want to see. I am so happy for what I'm seeing. When I look at Sydney, Australia, I never saw so many people fighting for the same cause in another country. We are so blessed. Everybody in this country, black or white, should thank God for today. Because what has happened, only God could have done it. And I am thankful. I don't take anything for granted. I said, thank God I lived long enough to see this. I would have never dreamed I'd been here that long. But since I am, I thank God for all that he's done. Thank God for our guys being home. And you know, we have to add to our guys. We don't have 5 guys, we got 6. You know, we started out with 6 and 1 betrayed us. And then we got Tom and said, wow, look at what God did. He replaced the black boy with a white boy. And we love him to death. Every time we went to the prison, it was family. It was family. And I'm so thankful that God has brought us forward. Good to see you, Richard. Missed you. Yes, God is good. I wouldn't trade him for nothing in this world. So, understand, I'm going to preach to you a little while this morning from the 15th chapter of St. Luke. Father, we're grateful this morning for your blessings, for all that you've done for us. And what a privilege it is to come to your house to worship you. We thank you for working out every problem we ever had. We thank you, God, for getting us through a dark hour of our light and bringing us into the sunlight of your glory. Thank you, God, for what you have done, for what you will continue to do. And may our nation be changed like it never was. May there, God, be a connection and a unity in this country that will spread around the world. And we'll be careful to give you praise and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. The 15th chapter of Luke and 11th verse says, and he said a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country. And there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. I want to preach to you a little while this morning. This story says a lot because what this young man did, he felt like a lot of young people today, I want to do things my way. I'm tired of being at home. I'm tired of being told what I can do, what I can't do. I want to do it my way. And I thought to myself, how many people have made the mistakes in their life of trying to do things their way, looking at the way to do this. But you know what happens? So much of that time end up being wasted. Why is it we have to wait till we get older before we have some common sense? Sometimes when people are young, they don't think. Everything is for the moment. Nothing is about where I'm going, where I want to go. None of that's it. He said, Father, give me my portion. In fact, give me my inheritance. I don't want to wait till you die. Give it to me now. I just want to get out of here. But when I looked at this thing, I thought, he wasted a lot of time. How many people, if you look at your life, can look back and say, I wasted a lot of time? You think, why didn't I do this back then? Why didn't I do this here? I didn't get it done, and we come to the end of our life, and we have nothing but regrets about what I wish I had done. My prayer is every day, God, let me fulfill every part of my life that you gave me, because I don't want to come to the end and say, oh, my God, if I only had 5 more years, I had another year, I'd do this or do that. I want to do mine every day that I live, and you should, and you should. But he went joined himself to another country and sent him, after he got hungry, after it began to be in want. There comes a time when you put God out of your life, you're going to be in want. You're going to have a need, and you're going to need God to help you. When we put him in the background of our life, then when trouble comes, the first thing we say, well, Lord, have mercy. But I think we ought to leave it at the forefront of our lives, because if we do, that means God is leading and you're following. You can't go wrong if he's directing you, if he's giving you a way to go. So when the prodigal son spent everything he had on cheap women and booze, that's always a waste. And so, but at this time, he's feeling totally free that I can do what I want to do. I don't have to answer to nobody. This is my life. I'm living it my way. There may be people all over the country, and you know people, and you look at your own life and say, you know what? I felt the same way. When I was 16 years old, I didn't want to stay home no more. I thought my grandmother's old-fashioned. She's not in touch with the times. That's what I thought. And I thought, I want to leave. I want to go. I want to get out of here. I remember the day I was going to run away. My uncle was sitting on the door, and my grandmother had authority over everybody. Grown, children, everybody. And I waited for her to leave that day so I could take off. That was my plan. When I got ready to go, my uncle was sitting at the door in a chair. He said, I can't let you out, Rose. I said, why not? Mama would never tolerate it. Okay. I went back in the room and thought for a minute, you got to leave there at some point. Well, it'd be to go get something to eat or go to the bathroom. And when you make your move, I'm making mine. And I did. It wasn't very long before I realized this is not good. This is not good. All the things that my grandmother had taught me and about principles and about values and all these things, all of a sudden I thought, this is not working. I'm sad. I feel lonely. I don't feel the sense of family being close. I thought, wow. Still didn't want to go back home. I thought, well, I got to face it now. I'm out here. I'm done this. I didn't know what I was doing. I went to my older sister, which was like 7 years older than I was, and was talking to her, and her life was miserable. And I hooked up with her. Sometimes we hook up to people whose lives is already messed up. Don't hook up to people that's already in a mess, because they just pull you down. If you're not strong enough to stand up, they'll pull you down. Met this man that I married, who I love. He's been dead 26 years. I thought he is the most prettiest guy I ever seen in my life. My God, this is a good-looking man. I was a teenager. He was 21. And I remember thinking, I think I love him. And my sister said, Rose, you don't love him. You're too young. You don't even understand love. That's infatuation. I said, no, I love him. Nobody believed me. I said to his dad, I love Charles. He said, Rose, you don't know Charles. I said, yeah, I do. I didn't. And hooked up with him. I thought, God, if I could just have this man for a husband. Wow, if you give him to me, I'll thank you for the rest of my life. Well, he was engaged to some little ugly girl out there, and I thought to myself, I went out to her house and they told me who she was, and her father was some kind of kin to Charles's father's sister, some kind of way it was twisted in there. And I went out, I thought, I'm going to check her out. So I went out there to meet her. Her name was Mildred. That should have told me something. And I went out there and I met with her, and I just wanted to get a feel of who she was. Now, I ain't got no experience with no boyfriends, no nothing. I don't know what made me feel like she's not something I got to worry about. And so she began to say, well, Charles is not very ambitious, and he's this and he's that. And I thought, well, he's ambitious enough for me. I thought, if you got anything here that you really don't want to put up with, don't worry about it. I got it. And I left, went back, and I was a sinner. I said, God, please give me this man. Give me this man. He said, Rose, I'm too old for you. No, you're not. You don't understand. I'm old too. Yes, I may be 16 in age, but I'm older than that. So I thought, oh my God. It's a long story. I ain't going to finish it. But eventually we got married, got together, and had 7 children. Very good marriage. Very good marriage. He loved me and I loved him. I thought, you ain't going to love Mildred. You going to love me. And sure enough, he did. He really did. I mean, everybody in the church that knew him knew that he loved Sister Rose. He loved Sister Rose. But I reached a point in my life where I said, I'm still not happy. What is that? I got the man that loved me. I love him. Why do I still have this void inside? Why is something not being filled? I got troubled about it. God, why am I unhappy? Charles went in the military. I followed him and traveled all over these different places. And I remember him coming home one day. He said, honey, what's wrong? I said, I'm so sad. He said, why are you sad? I said, I don't know. He said, the children here, I'm here. I love you. Why are you sad? I don't know. I was sad because in here, the person that I needed to make me happy, I had not found him yet. No, that's what it was all about. So the prodigal son, at some point, he came to his life and he remembered what he had at home. He remembered this was a good place. My dad loved me. My family loved me. He began to reminisce on what he used to have. What we think that we got today may seem like it's not important. But you know what? If you have to be without it, you find out how important it is. So at this point, he wasted everything. He had nothing. He was broke. He was in the hog pen with the hogs and almost about to eat the food that the swine were eating. That's how hungry he was. But what happened? After he wasted all that time, he reached a point where he said, I think I'll go home. I think I'll go home to my father. I'm telling you this morning, he learned a lesson from wasting stuff. Wasting his life, wasting time, spending time with the wrong people at the wrong time. Understand this morning, if you're in a place in your life where you know without a doubt that you're wasting your life. You set goals, but you never reached them. You had plans, but you never got there. So these things are keeping people from having a good life because we waste time. Time is of the essence. And there's so many people, we act like we got a lot of it, but we really don't. We really don't. Time will be gone before you know it. You wake up one day and say, where did the time go? Where did it go? But I want to say this to you. At some point in your life, you're going to come to yourself and take an evaluation of where you are. Start looking at things where I am and where I could have been. I spent my life wasting time on things that had no value, and so many times we do that. The only value we really have in this life is Jesus anyway. But if you choose not to have a relationship with him, you lost a lot. You've lost a lot. And too many people wait till they get to the end of their life before they recognize, I wish. I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done that. And time is out. Time is out. I remember waking up some years ago. I think I was 25 years old, and I thought to myself, serving God is what I want to do. I gave my life to him when I was 26 years old, and let me tell you, it never has been a sad day since. He has made my life worth living. In the midst of all the things that we face in our life, because he was there, we made it. Without him, we couldn't have made it. How many of you have chosen not to have a relationship with God because that's not for me? That's for everybody. It's for everybody. So you got to understand, he realized he was loved. When man comes to his senses and realize that God really loves us, we're going to go there and stay because everything you'll ever need in your life is right there. He will supply everything no matter what it is. And you got to wake up to the realization, I keep putting it off. I keep saying later. I keep saying I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it here. And you keep putting it off. Don't do that. You're going to end up regretting that. He said, he began to understand the things that he should have done. All of us have had things in our life and situations where we look at a situation and say, I wish I'd have done that. I look at Donna June's son all the time. I thought he's going to wake up one day and say, what have I done with my life? I chose to live it alone, isolated from everybody. How horrible is that? I mean, at some point you got to come out of there. These are places we dig for ourselves and say, this is my place where I can find comfort. You got to get out of that place. That place won't give it to you. I spent time talking to him, doing my best to help him. His way of thinking is all if he wants to go to China. Is it Japan? Is it Japan? China? Yes. I said, what do you want to go there for? He said, because that's some place he feels like he'll fit in. I said, if you can't fit in here, you'll never fit in a foreign country with foreign people. Cultures are different. If it's not working here, it won't work there. Now, if it's working here, Japan might work. But ain't nothing gonna work without God. Nothing. I don't care where you go, because you know what? Everything in your life, you drag it to the next place. You drag it to the next place. I believe I'll leave the city. You taking it with you. I believe I'll try this. I think if I just get out and do this and do that, I'll be happy. You're going to find out it's not going to work, because after a while, it comes to an end. Everything has an end in this life. When you realize you lost everything and serving the devil, you lose everything. He's a thief. He's a killer. He's going to take everything away from you. Your life, your reason, your purpose, everything. He's going to strip you of everything. You don't have to be stripped. Sometimes we take church for granted until this happened, till pandemic came. And they say you can't go to church. Our people was in this, you can't go to church. Can't go to church. And then they got up, they were shouting hard that Sunday when the governor gave us the okay to do it. He said, just do as much social distancing as you possibly can. They was in here hollering and screaming, I'm so glad to be in church. All along, yeah, we're going to church. But it became what I realized I needed this. I needed this. We come here, we draw strength from each other. We sing songs. We worship God together. There is strength involved in that. Yes. And almost everybody got up. I thank God we got church. Thank God we got church. Every church closed, but I thank God we got church. I thank God for it too. I really do. I said, God, help us to get through this. So when they interviewed Munt and Cliff and said, so that you want to defy the governor's order? No, it's not about defying. It's about trying to practice our right to go to church. You got to understand, what God has offered to us is more important than anything else you'll get. Because if you don't take it, you spend too much time wasting time and not getting there. You know, isn't that something, how we'll go through all these things and what have you, and at the end of the day, we say, I never knew how much that meant to me till it was gone. I looked as I came to church this morning, I thought, I see Whitman Valley's still not open. And we had people call and say, well, why are y'all having church? Because we wanted to. We wanted to have church. Look at yourself and ask yourself, how many times and years am I wasting? Don't wait till it's the day before you die. You never learn to live. I said, some people live their whole life, but they never really lived. I said, if I died tomorrow, everybody could tell you Sister Rose had a good time. She had a good time. She lived life to the fullest. I made the best of every situation. Regardless of how bad, how painful it was, I got to make the best. I got to get something out of this. I got to take this experience and use it for the good. Not only for me, but for other people. We need this. We need this. I got to have it. If you could have done it, why didn't you? Because we tell ourselves we got tomorrow. Never put off today for tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. We could be here today and gone today. Understand? I got to not spend my life squandering everything that I should have held on to. We're very foolish when we're young. We think we know. But as you progress in life, nothing's worse than a person that done live 40, 50 years and still stupid. Still ain't woke up, just stupid. You have to say, well, at some point, when do you start learning something? When you become knowledgeable? When do you change that? You got to come out. Dave here, who was with the guys He learned a lot. Boy, did he learn a lot. I remember the first time I called him on the phone when they were in the detention center in Denver. And Dave was a person that was an introvert. He didn't like to be around people. He removed himself from that. And I called him on the phone. We had to go on this little phone that they come up on the screen and you listen to talk to him. And Dave, somebody walked up on Dave and his eyes was like, he wasn't used to it. But the fact that Dave went through this process, Dave ain't the same fella. No. He's so much our family. He's so much our family. We had to look out for Dave, look out for the guys, be sure they got a place to live, be sure that we don't leave their life tore up while they're away. That could have been. And I was determined to say they're going to come back to something that they left behind and not have lost everything. Yes. We made sure they had cars when they left. The cars broke down in 8 years and wasn't no good anymore. And my goal was they got to have a car. We got to get them a car. They have to come back to a car. That's what they had. They got to come back to a place where they can call home. That's important. Those years may seem somewhat wasted. 8 years is a long time to be separated from your family, your friends, and from the church that you love. It's a long time. But you know what? They really wasn't wasted years because in the process, God taught us something. He taught everybody something. He taught you. He taught me. So I look at the bad things and say, what did I get out of this situation? I learned about what actually happens in our justice system that I didn't know before. I learned that there's so much injustice that's unbelievable and how it is so biased and prejudiced in every way. Thank God for the experience. It taught us something. Oh, my God. Think about it. Nights we cried. Some days wasn't as happy as others. But we learned how to cope with the pain because God helped us. And we live for the day. That's why it's unbelievable when you look around this church and see all these guys sitting here together. And they came out at different times. Thought your shout's good, but we need the rest of them. We need all of it. Then the real shout comes. You either took advantage of this situation that you were in and thank God for it. We don't like to thank God for the rough time, but the rough times make us who we are. The rough time, the pressure we go under defines us as human beings. We become stronger because of pressure. People that can't take pressure don't live long. Life is full of pressures every day in ways that you never even comprehend. It's always there. Understand. I'm going to make the best of this. Was it painful? Yes. I call them growing pains. That's how we grew. The men grew. David come home, I'm thinking, boy, he's such a sweet kid. I didn't say that beforehand. So I loved him to pieces. I told him one time, I said, David, if there was a crown to be given called the King of Rebellion, I'd put it on your head. Because that's the way he was. He rebelled against everything. Not anymore. I said, is something good come out of this? Yeah, because it's not wasted. Something happened. I am thankful for Tom. He didn't even know the system was like this. Unless you become a victim, you don't know. But what he learned in that process for a little over a year, hey, he'll never forget it. He'll never forget it. Things I didn't see clear before, they're clear now. Things that I didn't pay much attention to, I thought, oh, no, not anymore. They told me the other day that one of the girl's friends came up and said, I'm going to be a federal prosecutor. He said, so you joining the crowd. You joining them too. Tom would have never said that before. But it's like I see it different. When you say prosecutor, prosecutor, prosecutor. Why does that have a certain ring now? Because they done it to me. Yes. You got to understand where we are in our life. And I don't want to waste any time, whether it be bad times or whatever. I want to make every minute count. I want to grow. I want to become better. Are you lost? There's no worse feeling in the whole world than to be lost. If you want to upset me, take me somewhere and don't know where you're going. I used to give Charles a hard time about that. I said, we go out of town on vacation. I said, will you take me down? I always found the mall, always. I went down, I said, take me to the mall. I look at that time in the yellow pages or whatever, and I pick out me some places. Could you take me there? Yeah, I'll take you. He kept going around and said, honey, I don't know if this applies to all men, but it applies to most. I said, could you pull over there and ask some people exactly where to go? He said, well, I don't need to ask nobody where to go. I know my way. I'm thinking, apparently not. We've been driving in circles for the last 30 minutes. So, hey, honey, pull over there and ask the people. Oh, no, he's not going to do that. So I just got to sit there and endure running around corners and down streets until he finally gets where he's going. So I understood that if you're lost, it's a terrible feeling. It's a feeling of unsettledness. I feel this feeling that I'm not comfortable, I'm not relaxed in here. Where are we? When you're away from God, you are lost. Trying to find your way, seeking for him over here, seeking for him over there, looking for God here and there, and you can't find him. Looking in all the wrong places. When the disciples, Mary Magdalene, some of them come to the grave where Jesus was buried, he said, why seek ye the living among the dead? He's not here. How many times have we looked to try to search God out only to find out he ain't over here? He's not said, it doesn't matter what church you go to. Yes, it does. Is he there? Can you feel his presence? Do you know that he's real? Do you feel better when you went to church? Yes. Then when I go home, I feel good. You know what I found out? This is the age of technology. It's a bit above me. I'm 75 years old. Says, I don't have this problem. I do get on my phone a lot. I used to talk about everybody else, but I do use my cell phone a lot just for studying. Email is one of the biggest time wasters. It says 200 billion emails are sent every day. And that's supposed to be average. 200 billion. They said people look at emails constantly all day long. If they lay their phone down, they have to check it every few minutes. It ain't got no legs. It's not walking nowhere. It's still checking to see if it's still there. It's an age of technology, and we get so caught up in it. And I thought, what you going to do one day when everything comes tumbling down? Well, that ain't going to happen. In this world, anything can happen. Yes. You got to get to the place that I can move around and not be controlled by that. People say, did you get my email? Oh, no, I didn't check it yet. I'll check it. You get my email? I sent you a text. Nobody's talking to nobody no more. They sitting right in my house. My kids sitting in there, and one's on this side of the room, one's over here. I'll text this to you. I said, are you kidding me? Can you say this to him? No. Well, we need this. I'll text it. I'll send it. In the same room. It's ridiculous. I got my little pet peeve of whatever you want to call it. I found out that my phone could give me a whole lot of information in a very few minutes when I'm studying. So, hey, I love that phone. I got 2 of them. And they said to me, Mama, why do you have 2 phones? I said, because when one needs recharging, I got the other one already charged. But the high-tech age, we rely upon this. We depend on it. It's our life. And he said, well, I didn't get your text. You didn't get it. We come in the door one service time, and Nisha said, hey, Bernard, I sent you an email. He said, I didn't get it. It comes in a day later when we are standing in here talking. He said, oh, here it is now. We facing each other. But they say it's a waste of time. I believe it. We spend a lot of time just tick-tacking away. Tick-tacking away. How much time does that take all day long? See? Employees checks his or her email 36 times in an hour. You know how crazy you are? 36 times in an hour. That's a lot. Can you imagine what it's doing to your mind, though? Your mind is becoming a technical instrument. That's right. It functions accordingly. But we're wasting time. So much can be done in the moment. I said, call them and ask them such a thing. Okay, I'll text them. Call them. Call them. You got to wait till they get it, and then you're going to say, well, I didn't get it or whatever. Just call. No, nobody calls no more. Text, email. Here are a few points that you can do to overcome and not to waste your life. Overcome neediness. You know, nothing's wrong with somebody that's always needy. I would want a man that's always needy and a woman, God help us, they'll smother you to death. They're just so needy all the time. I need you, I need you, I need you. Come on. Live in the moment. Live for right now. I may not be here tomorrow, but I'm having a ball right now. I'm having a ball. Stop worrying about daily problems and about the future. We spend more time worrying about tomorrow. I got it all right for the day, but what's tomorrow going to be? How am I going to make it to tomorrow? Well, you know, they're laying people off the job, so how am I going to make it? I don't know. You know, worry. Worry kills you. It causes all type of medical issues in your body because of worry. When you worry about today and tomorrow, you miss more of the joy that you could have had today. I should be happy today, but I'm worried about I may not have this tomorrow. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be happy right now. Live in the moment. Vitally important to have an exciting life. And you say, well, it could end tomorrow. Yeah, but not today. See? Living in fear is a great way to end up with a wasted life because fear will bind you up, restrict you mentally and emotionally in every way because you're so hooked up and messed up and I'm scared of everything. I'm scared of this. You know, what about this and what's going to happen? Oh my God, what happened to me? Is that going to happen again? No, it ain't going to happen again. If it does, I'm going to make the best of it. Okay? But we worry ourselves to death trying and wasting so much time. If you don't know where you are headed, you'll end up somewhere, but it probably won't be where you wanted to go. I'm worried about it, trying to get here. So where are you going? Honey, I don't know. Don't just get out on the road and start driving crazy because, something is wrong. And waste time. My friend, Mr. and Mrs. Wyckoff, she was German, he was black, and he had gone to the Vietnam War. And he told her before he left, he said, honey, I'll be back. I promise you I'll be back. He got killed. And when the officers from the military came to her door to deliver the news that her husband was dead, she said, I'm going to tell you, get up out of my house right now and get out of here before I turn my dogs loose on you. She's not thinking rational. She's all confused at this point. No, he said he was coming back. We don't have power over our life. No man has the power to retain himself in the day of death. And she said, just get out of here before I turn my dogs loose. She has some big dogs. So the officers apologized, gave their condolences, and got out of there real quick. Immediately she got in the car and took off down the freeway, driving 100 miles an hour. And she said she heard a voice say to her, which I'm convinced was God. She said, I heard a voice say, why would you want to kill somebody else? Because you're in pain. She said, I took my feet off the gas and I made a U-turn And I began to drive the speed limit, and I went back to my house. But for that moment, she is so caught up, and she's driving like this without thinking this is destruction. You can kill somebody. You can hurt somebody. A waste of time to spend your life forever sad over a situation that you can't fix. I remember when our guys got sentenced, I can't even begin to tell you. I can't begin to tell you. It felt like I always believed they would never go to jail. You know why I believe that? I thought the system was what they said it was. So if you have your evidence, you're not going to jail. I truly believe that. When they sentenced them guys, me and a couple of family members, 2 or 3 family members was in the room. They never saw me like that before. Never. I laid on the floor and I screamed and cried and screamed and cried. And I said, God, I told them they would never go to prison. How did you let this happen? And my family was so quiet because they never saw me like this before. And I was on the floor and I couldn't believe I'm trying to somehow wrap my mind around this. They're going to jail? No. They can't go to prison. God had a plan. I didn't know what it was. I just knew they didn't break the law. I knew they were good guys. I knew they worked hard. They done everything they could. How do you get rewarded this? And my son David told me from the prison, he said, Mama, I asked myself, how do you work on software to help your country, to benefit the country, and they reward you with prison? That's a hard one to deal with. But by the grace of God, we all made it through it. We learned from it. The time wasn't wasted. We learned. Apply yourself to know what's going on. Oh, must understand. There's many lessons to be learned in life. Don't waste your time. I found this quote online the other day, and it said, how many people are still turning the pages when you should have closed the book a long time ago? So true. You should have closed the book. And you're still turning pages, reminiscing. And I shouldn't have been done this way. And I don't know why I went through. You took my life. You done this. You done. Close the book. Say, that was then. This is now. I'm going to live. We can become too dependent upon all external things around us and nothing inside. Nothing inside. I remember when I would go to the prison to see the guys, David said, Mama, I refuse to let them take away my life. He said, I'm getting ready to celebrate. That's what he came out of prison with. I'm going to celebrate. I'm not going home and cry and mope over what happened yesterday. I'm getting ready to celebrate. And he celebrated. The first thing he got was a McDonald's hamburger. And he said, wow. He said, Mom, I feel like some big chef cooked this hamburger. That's the best hamburger. I long for some meat. Because the garbage they give them in prison is anything but meat. It's garbage. They come in, he was just basking in that burger. I can't tell you what this is like. He said, get me some orange juice and some bacon. We went out and got it. He said, I'm going to celebrate. He's happy. That's amazing how happy he is. Because why waste your time? Why waste your time crying about yesterday? I'm happy today. I'm free. I'm free. Yes, free indeed. Mont served 7 years in prison for a wrongful conviction. One day his back was hurting. He said, it's a free back pain. It's free, though. I'm free. I'm not going to focus on what caused me to have a back problem. I'm going to live. I'm not going to waste my life on yesterday. I can't change it. I can't change it. learn from every experience. There's something to be learned if you apply yourself and say, I want to think about, what did this do to me as a person? Am I better? Hopefully you became better and not worse. Hopefully you see life through a different glass now. I see, I understand. It's good. Now what are we going to do? We're going to take our experience and we're going to fight for those that's left behind that wall that can't get out. Oh my God. Teach us, God, to number our days, because that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Teach me to understand that my days in this world are very limited. They're very limited. Solomon said, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard, when thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, the folding of the hands to sleep. So shalt thy poverty come on one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. So wake up. Wake up. Get busy. Make your day count. How many times people look at their life and say, boy, this was a miserable day. I don't have miserable days. I'm sorry. He that is slothful in his work is brother to him that's a great waster. And it's so true. Somebody lazy, they waste time on a constant. They're always saying tomorrow. Well, as soon as my ship come in, your ship done been there and gone. You still looking for it. Yes, love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. He said, Solomon said, I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding, and lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. He said, when I looked at it and saw, they didn't even do what they need to do. Everything is all grown over. They haven't manicured the lawn. They haven't taken care of it. They sit down and say, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, while you're doing it the next day, it's continually growing. That's what we do. We put off too much for tomorrow. Tomorrow you don't know if you're going to have that or not. See? He said, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of God is for your life. Find out what God's will is for your life and walk in it and live it to the fullest. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time, saving time, saving time, saving time. Make today count. You can sit up and talk about, well, tomorrow I think I'll lose weight. Tomorrow don't never come. If next day, well, tomorrow, I'm really starting Monday. Every person that ever had to lose weight started on a Monday, but they never started. They went fat Monday after fat Monday after fat Monday, because it's always Monday. I'm gonna start. No, you ain't getting ready to get nowhere with that. See, walk in wisdom. Whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then it vanisheth away. You don't know what tomorrow holds. My last vacation with Charles was the greatest vacation out of all of them we had, was the biggest one. And I said, honey, I never had so much fun in my whole life. I didn't know the next day he would have a brain aneurysm. The church people met us at the airport, and Sister Rose, how was the vacation? Oh, greatest one we ever had. Me and Charles spent so much time together. I mean, usually I'm at the mall, he's at the golf course, but we spent a lot of time with each other. Little did I know, time was running out. And you know what? Had I known, I could not have enjoyed vacation. Some things God don't tell us for our benefit. If I don't tell you this, you can live for today. I told the guys, I'm thankful God didn't tell us y'all would be gone 8 years. We couldn't handle it. We took it one day at a time, maybe this day, maybe this week, maybe this month, maybe this year. That's what kept us going. But had we known it's solid for 8 years, I mean, the guys would have been in tears and we would have been too. God said, I don't let you know everything for your benefit. We just extremely nosy. I don't know why God didn't tell me about this. You weren't supposed to know. It's better for you not to know. Then you can go through life and enjoy today. So what kind of time are you wasting? Look at your life. What am I doing with it? I said I'm going to go back to school. I never went. I said I'm going to do this. I never did it. I said I'm going to make plans for my future. Never did it. Every day is what I'm going to do. People are going to die. We're going to do. I'm going to. And never get it done. Let me tell you, everything I set out to do in my life with God, I have been there. I've lived it. I've accomplished it. If I died tomorrow, I lived a full life. Well, what can you say about you? What can you say when you look at your life and say, have I really lived to the fullest? Did I really give it everything I got? Did I show love to people? Did I reach out? I tell the people all the time, I want to leave a legacy behind that I love people and I was there for every point and every need. And Dave said, I just can't believe that you cared like this about me. I said, are you kidding, Dave? You're family. You're family. But if my family desert me, how can you love me? Oh boy, we fixed him up good. We fixed him up good. You know why? Because we loved him. Everybody has to have the same thing, not one over here and one over there. Everybody's got to have the same. I don't regret it. I was so excited and so happy. Over the top. Let these guys live a while. Let them be able to say, yesterday was yesterday. We happy today. It's McDonald's Day. It's Chicken Day. Boy, I'm having a ball. Excited. And I just like fixing it and watching them eat it. I don't cook no more. Everybody cooks but me. I stopped that after 7 kids. But everybody is saying, gave Clint a list. Write down everything that you missed when you was in prison. You wouldn't believe that list. Fried apple pies. Banana pudding. All kind of stuff was on that list. I remember that time I cooked a sweet potato pie years ago, and people in the church was asking me for a pastor's roll. You make me a pie? 'Cause everybody was talking about that pie. It was a good pie. It's bad for you though. And I cooked a pie and called Clint over to the house, and I said, Clint, you ain't never tasted? He said, no. He got the pie. He said, he bit into. He said, my God, that's character. He was so excited. That's the type of response we're watching now take place. Everything has character. This is good. Yes. I hope you leave today with this in your mind. What should you have done today that you plan for tomorrow? You may not have tomorrow. You may not have another hour. Live it to the fullest. Enjoy, shout, praise God, worship God. Have a good time. I like being happy. Yes. If I get somebody sad around me, I say, perk up, perk up. Start laughing about anything. Laughing is better than crying. It sure is. Say, you still laughing? Yeah. And I'm more excited now than I ever been. We won this battle. We won. I say to you, I want you to remember this all this week, next week. What am I doing with this moment? Live in the moment right now. Enjoy yourself. Live. Learn how to live. And living is being happy and exciting and just running around crazy and doing crazy things. That's what we did when we take vacation. We just go crazy. Laughing and giggling and playing and care. We love it. I can't stand up and saying, what is there to be happy about? Forget you. That's right. Bye-bye. Anytime you get somebody around, you talk about, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I mean, oh my God, life is so hard. I said, give me a break. I used to sit at that desk over there shaking people's hand on their way out. They come down, I said, how you doing? Well, Sister Rose, I said, you doing just fine? Go on. Are you not getting ready to cry on my shoulder? Everything is fine. Just look at it that way. Make the best of it. God bless you. Stand to your feet. Give us some music. Anybody want prayer this morning? I'll pray for you. Yes.
I'm glad that man, he didn't let teardrops fall. You know what? I know he'd find joy in every tear that I shed. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man didn't make heartaches. 'Cause I know he'd give me more. He'd give me more than I could bear. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man, he didn't create me. Oh, Lord, for one day. Man, he sure